BreitlingSource.com here, and the watch I'm reviewing today is the Breitling Chrono-matic 44. The Chrono-matic is based on a old vintage Breitling watch that's been around since the 70s. Very popular style, popular design, and it's one of their reissues. This is the older 44mm version, which I think is a lot better than the larger 49mm versions that came out later. This is just a little bit more wearable. This one was released only between 2006 and 2008, though it was probably available for a little bit after that. Older stock. Sell off for maybe about another year. So this is the silver dial version. It's quite a stunning watch. Get a lot of compliments on this watch. It's quite noticeable on the wrist. My wife even wanted to take away from me. She said, "Oh, when you're done with this watch, can I have it?" I kind of laughed. I chuckled, but maybe I'll give it to her as a gift. This one of the more distinctive features, of course, is the left crown on this watch. It's a non-screw lock, so you can wind from the left crown. As well, it's got the little cap there, which has the internal turning bezel. So as you can see, when you turn the outside, that little chapter ring inside turns as well at a slightly faster speed. That's a feature that Breitling introduced with the B1 and B2 watches, I believe. Kind of a neat Breitling feature. But because of that mechanism and it affects the water resistance, and this guy's only good to 3 bars or 30 meters water resistant. Has a chronograph function, 41 LC movement, LC for left crown. So it's the same as the Breitling 41, but the LC version just swaps the crown, and that's based on an ETA or ETA 2892 movement. See that red second hand there for the chronograph going, kind of a neat look, and then the red minute hand for the chronograph there. So it distinguishes the chronograph hands as being the 2 red hands there. As you can see, the date's there at 6 o'clock, so there's no hour register for the chronograph. On top, reset on the bottom as you would expect. Let's go zoom in for a closer, more intimate look at this guy. Took a look at the case here. It's fairly flat for a Breitling, a little bit more angular to I think to stay truer to its vintage roots. As you can see, the bracelet's a full swinging lug bracelet, also a tribute to its more vintage roots. This case is 13.6 millimeters thick, so it's a decent thickness, but quite thin by a lot of Breitling standards. 98.7 grams in weight, just head only, so it is lighter as well. It's not one of the heftier Breitlings out there. Zoom back out. Fully polished case. It's also got what I believe is actually a black steel around the outer side of the bezel, along with either a plastic insert or some sort of black aluminum insert there as a part of this bezel. I'm not quite sure what those components are, but I believe that is essentially the technology they used for the black steel finish that's on the outside of this bezel, which is kind of a neat thing. The original vintage Chronomatics had plastic in the bezel. So yeah, fully polished, very nice watch. I think this is probably when I was into Breitling, one of the watches I always really wanted to get was a Chronomatic. The opportunity never came up, and I tend to like to buy my watches used instead of springing for them new. On occasion I will buy them new, but generally I like to buy them used just because affordability and all that. But finally the chance came up to snag one of these guys, and and I did, and I'm really liking it. Just has a great look to it. 22mm lug width, like most of the Navitimers that are in this sort of the size range, right? Except for like the big ones like the World. And of course the Chronomatic 49, those would go to a 24mm lug width. So looks great on the strap as well as a bracelet. Has the vintage style Breitling back as well as the vintage style Breitling clasp, as you can see there. So hope you guys enjoy the review. Breitling Chrono-matic. Have a good one.